feel the power?
I feel the power. I feel the nostalgia. Yeah. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's pretty great to hear He-Man.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, we were like 7 and 8 years old when that came out, but in my mind, like, I thought I was older for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like it's always been around, though. Like, you know, some things, they kind of fade away, but somehow He-Man and Skeletor seem to weave their way into everything now.
Yeah, and they were surprisingly popular because, you think the powerhouse of Star Wars and G.I. Joe, but Masters of the Universe, they were pretty big.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of a reach for Mattel. I think they were really sad, for lack of a better description, when they passed on Star Wars and let Kenner grab Star Wars.
Oops.
Yeah, but the story behind it and how they came up with the whole concept, like character before show, where so much other stuff, it was, a show or a movie that precipitated the action figures and stuff. Right. They kind of did it in reverse, which is pretty cool.
It was, yeah. Really neat story.
Yeah.
So, as you said, they came out 82, and I didn't remember this, but they had little comic books with the toys. Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, within the last few years, I was going through one of those, bins that I have, everything, and I came across a few of them. I can't seem to find them right now, but I know I have some, and it was cool because, we didn't have a lot to go on when those action figures came out, and it was neat to have those mini comics to sort of tell the story. So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
they really provided some background, and you kind of like, oh, this guy's so cool because of this, and also I think the size difference between them and the the G.I. Joe and the Star Wars, they're much bigger.
Oh yeah.
And they're more tough, like you'd like bang them together, right?
Yeah, I don't think any Jedi would be able to take on He-Man or any of his counterparts, because they were pretty bulky.
They're imposing size.
Yeah, but I thought it was kind of cool. I'd seen something about how the guys at Mattel, when they were given this assignment to come up with a new new character, the one designer, he took, I guess they had a larger doll called a Big Jim doll.
Yeah.
And he took clay and sort of modeled this hulky, muscular character, I guess sort of inspired by like Arnold Schwarzenegger of the day, and
what's his name? Arnold
Atlas. Tony Atlas.
No. What was his Conan?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure, of course. Yeah. The barbarian style to it. Yeah. And it's pretty neat to see how they do that. It's somebody's job, that they create like prototypes and everything, and then that gets taken to an artist who draws and creates a more of a final creation, becomes the character.
Yeah.
And then what I think is cool too is like you have, like if it's just one person, like when we interviewed Ren, he kind of owns the credit for coming up with it, even though he said there's a team of people. It seems like the same thing happened here, where there's this team of people that are working, and they all want to claim that they were the one who came up with the idea, and yet it's a collaborative thing.
I did see that. There was a little bit of like, well, I came up with that. And I'm like, no, it was this team and that.
Yeah.
I think, if you look back on it, it was probably a bunch, it was a bunch of people who came together and created this cool thing.
I think Roger Sweet was the guy who did the initial character build off of that other doll. And then he coined the name He-Man. But then this other guy, Mark Taylor, who was the artist who did the renders and stuff, he sort of conveniently forgets that Roger came up with that name and the early creation of it. So I think that's kind of funny that they still kind of battle over who came up with the idea.
And it took a while for this to come to fruition, right? It started in the late 70s, but good, 3 or 4 years before it actually did come to fruition, which is interesting.
Yeah. And it's amazing too when you think of like that whole process, that these guys, it's just every day they're going into work and they're trying to create a new toy that's going to take the nation by storm. And even, did you see any of the stuff about the Battle Cat, how that part of it came to be?
No, I did not.
So they're building all these initial characters to kind of have at least 4 on each side to kind of create something fun. They'll have the good and evil and everything. And they're getting to the point where they've basically run out of money for the tooling, which is the making of the molds and everything that will create them.
Yeah.
So they're like out of money. And they go to this one guy and they're like, okay, well, what do we have basically that we can use?
Spare parts.
Yeah. So the Big Jim doll apparently had like a side, they'll make like special versions of things where you get extra characters with stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a tiger kit where there's this giant cat that, he's taming or whatever.
Okay.
So they repurposed the cat from that toy by painting him green and putting the orange stripes on and putting some armor and a harness on him. And then that becomes, the battle cat that He-Man rides. And it was all just out of necessity because they didn't have any, their budget was sort of exhausted.
Oh my gosh.
Creativity, it's pretty neat.
And then I'm pretty sure, because I think I had Panther,
Okay.
who was Skeletor's,
Right.
animal that, of course, you have to have equals on each side. And I'm pretty sure the body was identical. The face was different. But
I'm sure it was, again, because they just were like, all right, let's use what we have. We have the molds and just change color. So,
But the cool thing, if and maybe my mind, the Mandela effect, didn't Panther have like this felty feel to him? Or did you not have Panther?
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't even remember any of my friends necessarily having him.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll rely on your memory.
I'm gonna have to report card that one, because I'm pretty sure they like put like a felt on him almost.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, unless my mind just made that up.
Yeah, it's
Which
very
is
possible.
very possible.
There was another. We're talking about sort of the making of them. Do you remember Stinkor?
Yeah.
So I didn't realize they actually put like stink pills into the plastic.
Yeah.
So that it would smell funky, and apparently, like the factory workers were like getting sick and everything.
Oh, really?
'Cause the smell was so bad from Stinkor. So that was kind of funny.
I did not have Stinkor.
I did not either.
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of funny, the names of some of these guys, and I've got a few here. Some of them are very creative, and some of them are just like, something man.
Yeah.
Right? So for some of the good guys, we, of course, had Prince Adam, who turned into He-Man,
Right.
with his Cringer.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got transformed, he became fierce for some reason.
Yeah.
Then he had... not Sergeant at Arms. No, Man at Arms.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Tila, Orko, the little floating guy.
Sure. Yep.
Stratos, Ram Man, Many Faces, and then for Skeletor, who had, of course, Panther, he had Evelyn, Beastman, Mer-Man, Trapjaw, and Triclops.
Yep.
So they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which ones did you have?
Well, I had in a lot of this stuff, because I had a brother. Like a lot of it's sort of crossover. But
Same
we
here.
had He-Man and Skeletor. We had Ram Man.
Oh, I know.
We had Mer-Man.
Okay.
Which I'll come back to, because I heard a funny story about him too.
Okay.
And then we had Trapjaw.
Trapjaw was cool.
And I'm trying to think. We had one other that it was sort of like the evil version of Many Faces. He was like a blue guy with like a big head that would spin, and he had different faces. And
Just the different, okay, the
the
bad version.
Yeah, I'll have to look up. I don't remember what that one was called, but yeah, we just had a handful of them, but
Okay.
they were fun.
They were. I had a lot of the similar ones. You had I had Trapjaw, and I had the Triclops guy with the eye that would spin around, which I loved. And I did have the Man at Arms.
Okay.
Who was, his armor was the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of them, I thought.
Yeah. I was watching actually something. It was a bit of a documentary about the guys behind it and everything, and they were talking about the naming, and that they were, they'd come up with corny names and everything. And and apparently Mer-Man was originally Seaman. But then they quickly realized that, Skeletor walks into, he's coming into battle, and, Skeletor's like, seaman. And that obviously didn't work, so they had to pivot.
That's fantastic.
They had to pivot to Mer-Man, so.
That's so funny, because I have this other one here. They had an attack sphere. Did you hear about this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they had an attack sphere that the Filmation refused to put in using the name that they wanted to. Right. And the name of the sphere that would come out and like roll over and flatten out the bad guys was called the Ballbuster.
Yep, I read the same thing.
And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. And they had to come up with the Bashosaurus.
Yeah. Which is not as good.
Kids would have loved the Ballbuster.
Yeah. I guess maybe they're a little ahead of their time.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
That's fantastic. So anything, they of course had the TV show, which was they were like, along with of course G.I. Joe, I think perfected it. But the idea that you sell toys through cartoons really was a vehicle for success for Mattel.
Absolutely. And I thought it was interesting too to hear the story behind that they went to their first retailer, and because they didn't have any story or anything, they came up with the idea of the comics. Yeah. Then they go to Toys R Us a little bit later to try to sell them on, getting them on their shelves. And they're like, yeah, but the comics, like, if this is meant for little kids, they're not going to be able to read, so that's not going to work. Mm-hmm. So they're in the meeting, they just throw out, we're going to do some miniseries, a 2-part miniseries about, which obviously wasn't there
true.
yet. And then they ended up doing basically the after-school TV show in lieu of that, which turns into this huge success. But then taking points from like G.I. Joe, like you said, where every episode had like a lesson, and the characters were they got a little goofier.
One to grow on.
Yeah. So it was fun.
Well, I think probably Orko, and I'm just assuming this, but like as a little kid, I loved Orko. But I know he was probably like the most annoying character on the show. Yeah. But like that's the idea. Like he definitely added that sense of comic relief.
Yeah.
You know, and in my mind, I don't like one of the most things about He-Man when I think is the bumpers they had between the commercials and the show was Orko, like disappearing or doing something stupid, and and then like I don't know why, that's just like what I think of. Yeah. That little sorcerer flying thing.
Right. But even like, those elements of making it more fun and sarcastic in ways that I think that's why Skeletor has lived on, because they made him have this like funny attitude.
Yes.
And like, there's one clip that I just watched, I thought it was hysterical, where he's calling He-Man's father and he's like, King Randor, pick up, you boob. It's like just the fact that they called the king a boob, like and like his laugh, and that, I don't know. I just thought the way that they created Skeletor, and now there's memes of him everywhere, and he works his way into other pop culture things. I just think that was genius, just creative genius by Filmation. So.
And he was probably the coolest looking one of all. Like the purple and just the skull floating there and the hood. I mean, he was cool, cool looking.
And did you hear the sort of the backstory of how the artist who created the Skeletor character? Did you hear any of the backstory?
No.
So apparently he's a kid and he goes to like a house of horrors at like a carnival.
Oh.
And he says, in his retelling of it, that he felt off the minute he walked in there. It just didn't seem right. And he's walking through. It seems real shady. There's like a really bad odor. And he steps on this trip plate and a skeleton falls down in front of him. And he's looking at it going, that's a real human skeleton. Like, there's no way that's not. And it freaks him out. And then years later, he reads a write-up on that particular carnival, and they were 100% using a decomposing human skeleton in their house of horrors. Yeah. So anyway, that visual sort of was a big part of him creating this sort of, it looks kind of like a skull, but a little bit like an emaciated sort of human.
Right, skin pulled back.
Yeah. And that sort of was part of the inspiration behind the Skeletor character, which is pretty wild.
Yeah. Things were wild in the,
Yeah.
Well, I guess that must have been if he was a kid, 60s or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, a lot of, almost like the traveling circuses where there was no like oversight. It was whatever they wanted to do. So yeah, pretty wild.
The trapeze artist, fell.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We got to cover this up. I got a great idea. Listen, a house of horrors.
You know what? It's not that far-fetched that could have been how it happened, which is terrible, but
yeah. We, you bring up Skeletor, and he's got the most amazing memes that go around, and a lot are, adult oriented. But I did put some that like kind of come that are appropriate. Would you like to hear a few?
Yeah,
I don't know if you. Okay. So they're the Skeletor memes where he says something that's meant to be disturbing, and then he runs away and says, "Till next time."
Yeah.
So here's a couple. Brushing your teeth is the only way you can clean your skeleton. Until next time. This one was pretty good. When a pregnant woman goes swimming, she's a human submarine. There are more Irish people in America than in Ireland. And I'll go with one more. Remember, an empty search history reveals more than a full one.
And that's what's great about that whole Skeletor meme thing is that you just put anything in it, and whenever I read them though, I hear them being read in the voice of Skeletor.
Did you know Skeletor is actually He-Man's uncle?
I did see that. Yeah. You want to
That's kind of cool.
Share the story of the phenomenon behind it?
Oh, I don't know it.
Okay.
The story. I just saw that.
So apparently King Randor, which is He-Man's father,
yes,
is the brother of Skeletor before he becomes Skeletor. And he is Keldor is the name that he bears before he has acid end up on his face, and it like starts eating away, and then Evil Lynn, she tries to save him, but in the process it doesn't totally reverse what happens, and he ends up with this like skeleton face, and then he becomes more evil and
sure,
blah,
he's
blah,
pissed
blah, blah,
off,
blah.
right?
Yeah. So.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny how they sort of had this like sort of Star Wars-y sort of feel to it, but not, that they're related and everything. So it's kind of fun.
I liked how, and this I remembered distinctly with the mini comics, that the power sword that He-Man uses in the cartoon to become He-Man, right, was actually split between Skeletor and He-Man, which jives with the actual toy, right? Because the sword that He-Man has and the sword that Skeletor have can be combined.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I remember now, like as a kid, like I don't know, it's just so funny.
Yeah, and I saw, and I didn't have Castle Grayskull the toy, but I saw that when those swords were put together, there was a spot on the plastic toy that you could put the sword in and turn it.
No way.
And then anyway, they had a name for the drawbridge.
Okay.
That would come down. Clawbridge, I think it was called.
Okay.
The clawbridge would open a new side to the
castle. Really?
Yeah. So I didn't have it. I only saw like a little video about it, but it looked pretty neat.
I did not have Castle Grayskull.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that is pretty epic.
I did hear that when they did the first like clay version of Castle Grayskull, they made it too small. So like the characters, the mouth opening of it was so you'd have to turn the character to like get him inside. And the guy who was the main marketing guy was like, "Yeah, that's no. You got to make it taller. The characters have to be able to get in." And
that's so funny. Well, Skeletor also had a self-help book in 2019 called "What Would Skeletor Do? Diabolic Ways to Master the Universe."
It sounds about right.
And I've put that on my Christmas list. So.
Nice. All right. I'll have to see about getting that for you.
They had of course, we talk about Christmas, and I don't remember this one, but there was a Christmas special with He-Man and Masters of the Universe. And I don't recall that.
I don't either.
At all. And apparently there's 2 human children and Skeletor captures them.
Oh, wow.
And, I don't know. I guess he's going to hold them for ransom or some silly thing like that. But according to this, he starts asking them about Christmas and gets the warm fuzzies and eventually releases the children. And I was like, wow, there's a good reason that hasn't been re-released.
We might have to track it down, though, anyway.
I think we could look for that. Yeah.
This is going back to Castle Grayskull, but apparently the lore behind it is that it was built by a giant. Did you see this?
No.
So the story behind it is that it was built by this giant called Titus, and they actually made a doll to go along. It was a 12-inch doll, so it was basically twice the height of all the standard action figures. I did a quick little look up to see, can you find one?
Yeah.
You want to know what the top price tag on one of these dolls was? $24,000 for an unopened Titus doll on eBay. So,
no way. I had no idea.
I didn't remember it at all, but maybe it was a short run. They just tried to introduce that and it didn't really take off. But then a few smart folks bought them and didn't open them. And now they're worth quite a bit of money.
Or the kid got it for Christmas like, who wants Titus? I wanted He-Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, so my question for you then is, if a giant built it, wouldn't the door have been even bigger?
Yeah, it doesn't totally match up, but it kind of matches up with the ideas that they were talking about in the marketing team, is that they were making those comics and backstories like literally like as fast as possible so they could put them in with each of the characters, and whatever ideas came out of it kind of stuck. They're like, sounds good, run with it. So there wasn't a lot of extra time to really think through their the arc of the entire story and how it was going to work. So,
well, if I were to say to you, how much money do you think He-Man Masters of the Universe had made by 1987? They kind of fell off the map. The cartoon had been stopped being published, and the toys they put out just weren't popular anymore. How much money do you think they produced?
Well, if I hadn't read that it was $2 billion, I would guess that it was $2 billion.
$2 billion.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
For He-Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, even, the way that it took off, I think the first year they had promised, when they came up with this concept within Mattel, that they could make $13 million with it. And I think it was like $38 million they made in the first year. So they far exceeded expectations of what it could be. And then I know we've talked about how the show changed the vibe and the feel of it all, but that show just launched it, and it was just like T-shirts and bedding,
lunchboxes,
and, anything you could put the He-Man characters on, they were selling and we were buying. So
yeah.
pretty neat. Well, not we, our parents.
Yeah, right.
So
I think it was just after a couple years, because I do think that He-Man was a toy for a younger kid, though. Just it's bigger. There's not a lot of intricacies. Like G.I. Joe just overshadowed it at that point. With all the little guns and the finer pieces of that for like a 10, 11, 12-year-old versus a 7, 8, or 9-year-old who likes the He-Man, the bashing, and the all that kind of stuff.
But it does raise an interesting question. Like, even I know we've talked about the G.I. Joe plastic, how it just didn't hold up.
Yeah,
it's kind of brittle. We've got a couple of the He-Man characters here with us, and like they're still robust. Like they don't feel like they're gonna break, or they still have action, and
oh yeah, I forgot that they did that.
They battle each other.
Oh my gosh! So you're twisting his torso, and he hits with the sword. I forgot all about that.
And even like his vest, if you want to call it that, but like the straps that he wore over his chest and everything, they're all still good and not broken.
And this is Many Faces, and he's happy. He's a monster.
Oh yeah, that's the character I couldn't think of. That that's
Isn't this Many Faces?
Yeah, that's Many Faces. Yeah.
And then he's a robot.
Right.
Yeah. I thought he got happy, sad, and angry.
Yeah.
You're right. The plastic is definitely much more. I guess maybe it's thicker, so it's going to be a lot.
Or it seems like almost there's like a rubber component that it had like a little more rigidity and flexibility to it. But
do you want me to pull any more out here?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Let's find out. Tim has this really cool collection case.
Yeah. It's the original Masters of the Universe 8 character case. I didn't get all of the original 8, but I did have quite a few.
And here is Seaman. I'm sorry, Mer-Man. Do you have his weapon in here, or?
Some of the weapons they got misaligned. They're somewhere else in another bin.
Oh, his arm broke.
Yeah, Trapjaw. I mean, his arm is in there, but his arm did snap off.
I love that you could move his jaw.
Yeah,
like that was the best.
Well, even the way that they did do the thing that the torsos would sort of twist back. I don't know if those are rubber bands or if there's a spring in there, but the fact that they still work and didn't snap is pretty cool. I
love also the colors they chose. The vibrant kind of cool colors was neat, versus a G.I. Joe guy who were khaki, camo, and tan, whatever,
Definitely.
Like they really kind of popped because it was more fantasy based.
Yeah. Well, even the heads, I feel like it was maybe because of their, the Barbie dolls had those sort of rubbery heads that popped into the body. They did the same thing with the He-Man characters.
Oh, that's right. This guy, he had that's
Ram-Man.
right, Ram-Man. So he would like pop up, right?
I think that's a little. That one's not quite as quick to release. There's a little tab in the back.
Oh, maybe that's. Oh, there you go.
Hit it. There it is.
That's too funny.
It was battle axe.
Okay. Here. Oh, this might be somebody's axe. I'm not sure if that's Many Faces. Sure. And then you finally got. This is the best. Is Skeletor. You do have a Skeletor here.
But his purple sword again is not in there. I gotta track that.
It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And he had the Havoc staff with the cool, like goat horns or whatever coming off of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or ram horns, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, when you think of just the cool factor of Masters of the Universe, very cool. And Battle Cat just ran in.
More like Cringer.
Exactly, yeah. But just the cool factor of Masters of the Universe lasting as long as it has, and how many ways that they've now integrated it for us. We're doing all the nostalgia.
Yeah.
The society as a whole is doing
commercials with Skeletor.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Even I think it was the Honda minivan where Skeletor pops in, like all those little opportunities to. He-Man.
The voice was just so catchy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very
Good trip down memory lane, Tim. I forgot a lot of this stuff, and just to see it is fun to reminisce and be like, oh, like I'm 7 years old again. It's really cool. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's all right.
Good.
Going all right. So me, I like my games.
That's right.
So we kind of came up with a new game. You want to give it a shot?
Let's do it.
The name of the game is Who Lives Here? And we've come up with a list each of addresses. And we have to identify what movie and or TV show it comes from.
Right.
Yeah. and hopefully identify the person who it's relating to, but not necessarily, right?
Sounds good.
All right, there you go. All right, so I'll give you one first to get this kicked off. So remember, audience members, we're going to give an address, and you have to identify the TV show that it comes from.
Okay.
Or movie.
All right.
Or something popular in pop culture.
Okay.
All right, there you go. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. 129 West 81st Street, New York, New York.
129 West 81st Street.
New York, New York.
I feel like this is like kind of a gimme, and even the way it rolls off the tongue, it feels like
familiar.
Yeah, it does. All right, let me write it down so that it can kind of burn into my brain a little bit better.
129 West 81st Street, New York, New York.
See, like for some reason my brain is thinking like the Fresh Prince, which I know is in West Philadelphia,
right?
Born and raised, so it can't be that. I don't know. I feel like Different Strokes somehow could possibly be in New York City.
I don't think. Did Different Strokes take place in New York? I actually thought it was Chicago. I mean, I don't know for sure, but to give you a hint, it's not Different Strokes.
Jeez. I mean,
do you want a hint?
There's no apartment number. I was gonna say Seinfeld, but there's no apartment number because he's in an apartment. So, but I'll go with Seinfeld just because I can't think of anything else going on in New York City.
You're right.
Really?
Absolutely, it is Seinfeld.
All right.
The apartment number has changed over the years, so I didn't include it because in earlier episodes it's something, and then it does change.
Okay.
But yeah, you got it.
Yeah, nice. I'm shocked. Okay, are you ready?
No, but it never stopped us before.
Okay. 711 Coldwell Street, apartment 209, Chicago, Illinois.
711, and it's an apartment number.
Yes.
209 in Chicago.
Right.
So I'm going with a TV show.
Okay.
And what TV shows took place in Chicago that are apartment 209? And I am completely blanking on this, Tim. I'm going to go with Perfect Strangers.
What? You're correct.
No way.
That's impressive.
Are you serious?
For a shot in the dark. That's pretty awesome.
I knew that show took place in Chicago, but that was the only one I could think of. I was going to go with what was the Urkel one?
Oh, Family Matters.
That would have been my other, because I think that was Chicago too, but wow.
I don't know. That was pretty good, though.
Thank you.
You kind of set me up. I was like, there's no way he's getting it. He doesn't know. And then, boom, nailed it.
I will take that.
Very good, Greg.
All right, here we go. Let's go with this one.
Okay.
1882 Girard Street, San Francisco.
Let's see. I feel like San Francisco, I'm thinking it could be... I'm seeing the opening credits of the show, and I feel like it could be Uncle Jesse and that show is escaping me right now. They rebooted it on Netflix.
Yes, they did.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Tim. I'm stuck on F. I know it's not F. It's something else, I think. I know what it is, but I cannot, for the life of me, I can't think of the name.
Think of what the name of the reboot was.
See, that's the problem. I can't.
The reboot was slightly different than the original.
I know. Stephanie, the annoying neighbor. Come on.
The guy who dated Alanis Morissette.
Right. Oh my gosh. Come on. Serve it up, brain. It's right there.
It's right there, dude.
Right there.
Think of that opening caption. They're flying next to the Golden Gate Bridge, and in big yellow letters, they put it up on the screen.
I'm going to have to play the alphabet game pretty soon because it's just not working. I don't know that I'm going to come up with that.
I can give you a hint, and we can, give you like half a point or something.
All right, give me a hint because
There's certainly a lot of people living there.
It doesn't help me.
No? Making it a...
I'm 100% blank.
Gosh.
I cannot think of the name of the show. Go ahead.
You know what? We could put a pin in it, and it'll come back to you. You want to do that?
Sure. Let's see. We'll see if by the end of this
Bob
game,
Saget.
I can see the entire. It's the twins, the famous twins, the whole thing. It'll come to me. All right, we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to that. All right.
All right, Greg, for your next one, 900 Park Avenue, New York, New York.
900 Park Avenue. I don't think that's Friends. Maybe it is Friends. Park Avenue, no. Isn't that like kind of... I don't want to take up too much time. 900 Park Avenue.
Oh, feel free. I took up like an hour.
Maybe that is Different Strokes. Maybe Different Strokes was in New York because he was rich. And Park Avenue is a hoity-toity place. So maybe it was Different Strokes. I honestly, it's not ringing a bell, so I'll just go with Different Strokes.
You are correct again. I did actually, I set that up a little bit because I even said Different Strokes in my first guess on your New York one. So I thought maybe I could throw you off.
Nice. Okay.
And to all those people listening, I have not yet thought of the name of that show in San Francisco yet.
Which, if you're listening, you're laughing, right? Because you're like, of course it's this.
Yeah, you're shouting it right now, and I still can't think.
All right, let's go with this one here. How about... And then this one it's not an official address because it's been stated as 1 or 2. Okay. So it's either 2nd or 3rd and Dickinson Street, Philadelphia, PA.
Dickinson.
2nd or 3rd and Dickinson. So it's either 2nd and Dickinson or 3rd and Dickinson because they've said it a couple of different ways.
Well, since we're Philadelphia, I want to say the Fresh Prince because I already guessed the Fresh Prince, and maybe you're trying to do the same that I just did with the Different Strokes reference, but I'm going to go with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Nice.
All right.
Excellent. Yes, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That is the address of Patty's Bar.
Right.
Very good.
Okay. All right, Greg. We're going to go with 1630 Ravello Drive, Sunnydale, California.
Nice. I know that. Sunnydale, that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's her house, I would assume.
I assume so.
Yeah.
It actually does say, home of the Summers. So,
nice. Yeah. Sunnydale, that was the giveaway. Yeah. Nice. Big fan here. Love Buffy. Okay, how about this one? 84 Beacon Street, Boston, Massachusetts.
Well, just because it's Boston, I'm going to have to go with Cheers.
You got it. That's the address of the bar. And I believe this, we've been doing, at least I've been doing mostly fictional. That's the actual address of the Cheers bar. Which, have you ever been?
I have not, no.
Oh, I was there once.
Yeah, I've never been to Boston.
Oh,
I've been around different areas,
yeah.
But I've never actually been in Boston.
I didn't go inside, but we walked outside and got my picture taken outside,
Nice. Cool.
See, this game's not that hard.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. Actually, this one might throw you, though. Here we go.
Okay.
84 Rainy Street, Arlen, Texas.
All right. Texas?
Yep.
84 Rainy Street in Arlen, Texas. Now, I was just watching Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus, and that takes place in Texas. And I'm trying to think of other TV shows that take place in Texas, and I'm drawing a blank. But would they have ever said the address? I mean, Beavis and Butthead can barely read. Give me a second. I want to take a few seconds here. Texas. Walker, Texas Ranger? I mean, that's just like a... this is hard. All right, I take it back. This game sucks. I'm sure it's going to be so obvious. I'm going to go with Beavis and Butthead, but it's probably not.
That one is incorrect, but your thought process is not that far off. So,
how about a hint? Oh, no, we're not. Oh,
no, I'll give you a hint. It is also an animated show.
It's also an animated show.
Well, Beavis and Butthead being
animated. Then it's got to be King of the Hill.
Correct.
Nice. All right, so I get a half a point there. I've kind of lost count.
Yeah.
I don't know how many.
Well, and I mean, I've still got my round that I never finished out there. So I'm definitely losing points by the minute on that
one. Okay, how about this one? Now, this does not have a city or state. Okay. But I think you're still going to get it.
Okay.
4349 Wisteria Lane.
Wisteria Lane. I'll go with the Addams Family.
Oh, no. You want another hint?
Sure.
Definitely probably about 10 years old. Definitely more recent. And it was like an adult show. Like, kids wouldn't watch it.
I don't know that I watched the show, so I mean, maybe I did, but
I watched the first season and it was kind of interesting, and then I just sort of stopped watching it. It was like a soap opera, but it was had some weirdness going on there.
I mean, I guess, no, it's more, I don't know if that adults would watch it more than kids, but
yeah, this was definitely an adult show.
yeah. I'll just go with Weeds. I don't know.
No. You want another? I'll see if I can give you another hint here. So, that's not a very good hint. I can't come up with another good hint.
It's all right. I won't get it. What is it?
Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I might have watched a little bit of the first season when it came out because they made such a big thing to promote it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never really.
That was the street that all the neighbors lived on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Let's go with 42-2630 Heigl Place, Alexandria, Virginia.
What? That's not an address. That's just a bunch of numbers.
That's what the internet told me.
Alexandria, Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that show with Kevin Spacey because I think Alexandria is just right outside of DC. And I can't. House of Cards?
That's a good guess. I like, and for your hint, you're on the right sort of, like that it's a government related element to it.
I've never seen this show before. I'm just going to go with this because somebody just told me it was a really good show and I should watch it. The Wire?
It is a good show.
Yeah.
But no.
Darn it.
It was a team of two people, a male and female.
X-Files?
Very good. Yes.
No way.
That's Fox Mulder's address.
Oh, that's so cool, dude. I never would have got that, but that's awesome. I never would have thought they even said his address. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Let's go with 11222 Dilling Street, North Hollywood, California, 91602.
North Hollywood.
11222 Dilling Street.
Let's see. Hollywood. What would be
don't get thrown by that.
No.
Do not get thrown by that. No. That's a free hint.
Dilling Street. I don't know. Diary of a Wimpy Kid's House.
No, that's not a bad guess. All right, I'll give. It's a. I think this show took place in the 60s and 70s. Like no, it came out in the 60s and 70s. It's an older show and it's a family show.
Let's go with the Waltons.
No, one more guess.
Definitely lived in Hollywood. Yeah, one more guess. Or clue.
I'll give you the dad's occupation.
Okay.
Architect.
Oh, Brady Bunch.
There you go. Nice. That was good. You knew this dad was an architect.
That's pretty good. Let's see. What do I got here? 565 North Chilton Drive, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Now, Milwaukee, I automatically think of Laverne and Shirley.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Close.
Oh.
Think of another show that was also in Milwaukee.
Happy Days?
Very good.
Oh, okay. That was a guess. Thanks.
I just figured I'd give it to you.
There you go. All right. This one I'm not giving you the city.
Okay.
But I'll give you the state.
Okay.
742 Evergreen Terrace, Oregon. 742 Evergreen Terrace.
It's, again, like a couple of these, it sounds very, like it's triggering something in my brain, but Oregon. I don't know. I'll just say 30-something, but I don't.
All right, I'll give you a hint. That's not right. Animated.
Animated in Oregon.
All right, and I'll give you... Forget Oregon. Throw that out the window. Forget Oregon. That was only revealed years later.
I'm terrible at this.
742 Evergreen Terrace.
I can see it. Is it The Simpsons?
Yes, it is. There you go. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but I'm like, Oregon. Like, was it really Oregon? Like, I just because I think of Springfield being like, not in Oregon.
For years, they would never they never identified what state it was in.
Yeah,
and then eventually Matt Groening said it was Oregon.
Huh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think I just always assumed it was like somewhere, I don't know, like in the Midwest or something.
That's what I always thought. I thought it was like St. Louis or something like that.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting.
Like right around not St. Louis isn't a state, but
yeah, that's funny. All right, so we've gone through all of these. I guess I should give you one more to even it up, right? Because I think you started. And then after that, I will give my final answer for the one that I haven't gotten, if I can think of it between now and then. Okay, here we go. No, I won't say anything. I'll just say the address. Here we go. 1313 Mockingbird Lane, Mockingbird Heights, California.
Oh my God, that is like ringing a bell. 1313 Mockingbird Lane? California. Where was it in California?
Mockingbird Heights.
I mean, that, like, I'm going to be mad at myself when you tell me, I think. Maybe not. 1313 Mockingbird Lane. What could that be? I'm going to totally strike out on this. I can't even come up with a good answer. California? How about Baywatch?
It's a guess. It's not the right answer. I will give you this hint. They were an unusual family.
Oh, Addams Family?
Close. Think of another unusual family.
The Munsters.
Very good.
Ah, there we go. That's it. Yes, the Mockingbird. Yes, I do remember that now. Yep. Oh, that was good. I have like 3 more good ones.
Okay.
Should we save them then?
It's up to you. I mean, we can keep going.
We'll have to play this again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm embarrassed to say, but it's been a full house trying to get here.
Way to go.
Oh my gosh. And Fuller House, obviously, being the reboot on Netflix. Yeah. But my golly, the old mouse is pretty slow on the wheel and the old brain today. But anyway.
That was good. Well done. And fun. I think we tied.
Oh, awesome.
How about that?
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Congratulations right back.
Nice.
Latch-Key Dads, it's time for your report card. Of course Panther had fur, you boobs. Wait, the script says you get an A+. Never! Until next time.
Can't get enough Latch-Key Dad content? Well, check out latchkeydads.com.
That's right, Greg. On our website, we've got a plethora of photos from each episode, as well as other interesting links to content that we talk about on the show.
Yeah, Tim, I really enjoy all the pictures that you put up there, as they really bring the episode home.
Yeah, I guess I'm not afraid to show those embarrassing photos of my childhood. So, we encourage you to check out the website, latchkeydads.com, for all that content.
Excellent. And if you have a moment, check out our shop page where we've got really cool keychains for sale. If you don't know what to get your dad for Christmas, the holidays, Father's Day, birthday, check it out. It's a cool gift. Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know.
No,
Knowing is half the battle.